Hello and welcome back to Stories with me, Jesse. And today we're once again looking at the people who place their heads on the metaphorical chopping block for our judgment and amusement over at Reddit/AmiTheAhole. Let me know what you think of these stories in the comments, as well as any suggestions you might have that we may just use in a future installment. I realize we have some new viewers in the audience, and I hope you enjoy your stay. Keep telling yourself you did the right thing, but in the end, our opinion will ring in the final verdict. We're getting started now. Our first story is titled, Am I the a-hole for not making my son share his gaming PC? I am 45 female and my husband, 50 male, has a 16-year-old son. He is a good kid, good grades, respectful, does his chores, etc. Last summer, my son said that he wanted a new computer. To his credit, he got a part-time job and saved up for it, and built a pretty nice gaming PC. We are really proud of him, as he saved for it nearly all summer. My sister and her husband have recently moved in with us. They have a 9-year-old son. My sister has a history of, I don't know how to put it, being entitled. She thinks her kid can do no wrong and spoils her kid. Well, when they came over, my nephew noticed my son's PC. He asked if he can play it. My son said not now. That was the end of it for a couple of days. Again, my nephew really wanted to play on it. I asked my son if he minded sharing. He said he would rather not since it's expensive and doesn't want it to break. This caused a big argument. My sister says it's extremely unfair for my nephew because he doesn't have a system to play on, just his iPad, so my son should have to share. I told her it's his PC, not mine. He paid for it, so it's up to him. She then accused me of being a spineless parent. I said I'm not, but I'm not going to force my son to share his own computer. My nephew ended up having a huge fit, which she then blamed me for his fit, but gave him 3 more hours of iPad time to quiet him down. It's been 4 days, and my sister hasn't brought it up directly again, just being passive-aggressive. While on one hand, I don't want to make my kid share because it's his computer. He saved up for it, and I don't feel it would be the right thing to do, to force my kid to share. On the other hand, I do kind of feel bad for my nephew. Am I the a-hole? You are certainly not the a-hole in this situation, especially because you're respecting something your child worked so hard to save up for. My kids have all sorts of fancy gadgets that my nieces and nephews do not. And it's normal to want to encourage sharing with those who are less fortunate, especially when they're family. I've even bought my brother's children tablets and things as presents because their parents simply can't afford it. But there's only so much you can do for others without either instilling a sense of entitlement or making yourself go broke. But what do you guys think? Let me know your verdict in the comments. Moving on, our next story is called, Am I the a-hole for not telling my fiance about a secret room in our apartment? I recognize the title sounds a little ridiculous. The situation is less so. I was very fortunate to be in a position to buy an apartment straight out of college. It's a weird unit on a high floor of a weird building, but I've gut renovated it and made it really nice. One aspect of my home was created just to fulfill a childhood fantasy, a secret room. It's simple. A flush mount bookcase put in the doorway. It leads to what would otherwise be a windowless, very large closet or a very small room. I made it into a cute secret lair/reading nook, but with no windows. It never got used. Ended up being more long-term storage. I never told anyone about it because it was a secret room. I kind of figured at one point I'd tell my girlfriend, Emma, but I didn't want to tell her until I had a reason to. I had finished it shortly before meeting her. I figured maybe one day if we had a kid, I could renovate the bookcase and bam, we'd have plenty of space to put in a changing table setup or a craft nook for her. But I largely forgot about it, except when I needed to pull something out from back there, which is rare. Fast forward to yesterday. Emma, now my fiance, has been living with me in my, now our apartment for 8 months. During this time, I've kept the secret room a secret. It's not like I was thinking about it all the time. I only consciously did something sneaky maybe 3 times since she's moved in, to get Christmas lights, a spare coffee maker, and to put away a novelty item she probably thought I threw out. And the reason I was sneaky at those times was because, again, I didn't want to waste a surprise on Christmas lights. We've both been working from home lately, and we aren't really able to leave very often due to circumstances. And she jokingly announced we needed a new room to shake things up from her normal commute, bedroom to living room. So, of course, I excitedly pulled open our built-in bookshelf and showed her our room. And she flipped out. She is furious at me. She sees me keeping the secret as a major betrayal of trust, given that this is her home. She's acting like I cheated on her. I tried to explain I was waiting for a special moment, but she thinks that makes it worse. I have no idea if she's being unreasonable or if I am. Am I the a-hole? Wow! Now this is a fun situation to analyze. If we first look at the people of Reddit, they have determined that you are not the a-hole due to your secret being a closet and not another woman. However, I'm frankly surprised that even after you two got engaged, you actually had the gall to keep something like a hidden room a secret from her. While it's easy to say that it's not that big a deal, imagine what must be going through her mind upon realizing, like, what other secrets are you hiding, bud? I can't make a clear verdict here, so I would love a fresh perspective from the community in the comment section below. Our next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for ruining a barbecue party to teach my boyfriend a lesson? This happened about 9 months ago last summer, but we are fighting about it now. A little background for context. My boyfriend, 24 male Adam, fake name, and I have been together for just over 3 years. I am 23 male if that matters. We have a fairly stable relationship, but he has this habit of agreeing to things for us or on my behalf without telling me. It drives me crazy. He knows he does this. On to the actual incident. We were going to a barbecue party hosted by some of his uni friends. In my mind, this was a get-together in the afternoon. After 8 morning shifts, I was tired and looking forward to relaxing. I got home and got ready. Adam then admitted that he told the host about my baking hobby and that I had agreed to bake fancy desserts for the barbecue. The time was now almost 3. He deliberately waited till the last possible moment in time to tell me, so I would argue less and just make something quickly that would chill in their fridge while we were having food. I was livid, I admit. We argued. I accused him of knowing he was doing wrong and still doing it. He denied it. F*** that. I was so angry that I called the taxi, with him asking what I was doing. I told him I was just buying something cheap and that I was done with this whole last minute use my easy embarrassment against me to do what you want thing. He tried reasoning in the taxi, but I shut him down. We ended up arriving about 20 minutes past 4. The host greeted us and she looked surprised at the store-bought food. She asked if everything was okay, and I replied with brutal honesty what happened. That he agreed to me baking without consulting me, and she then informed me he told her I agreed to bake things almost 2 weeks ago. I lost my temper again and had a shouting match with him. We fought upstairs away from the main party, but it was obvious everyone knew we were fighting. We left after I apologized to the host, but everyone looked embarrassed. We fought again at home, him saying I humiliated him and ruined the party, that I should have stayed home if I was that upset, or just fought later in private, and that the host didn't need to know our business, and now I looked petty. Found out later the party was awkward for a while until alcohol overtook the atmosphere. I don't want to keep fighting about this, but I also don't want to cave and apologize when I don't think I need to. I did deliberately pull no punches with the host and told her what he did when she asked about the store desserts. I am just so sick of him pulling this crap all the damn time. I am starting to think he is right. Am I the a-hole? If I was the a-hole, I will apologize to him and settle this. Oh man, I think I speak for everyone when I say you are totally not the a-hole here. Squabbles can happen, and I'm sure you have some regret for how others may have perceived the situation, or your blunt honesty. But if I pulled that kind of crap on the missus, I would rightfully expect her to slug me one, and I deserve it. What kind of partner volunteers you for something and then springs it up on you at the last possible moment? I certainly hope that you two overcome this, but somebody needs to come down off their high horse and apologize, and it ain't you, at least in my book. Our final story is titled, Am I the a-hole for throwing out my girlfriend's jars? I, 42 male, moved in with my lovely girlfriend, 28 female, a few months ago, before this craziness started, and we'd been dating for a year before that. She's an excellent cook and really funny, so life with her has been great, but since this incident, she's been snappy at me and lost some of her perkiness and good humor. She always liked to mix fancy drinks in big mason jars to drink around the house. Now mind you, I've actually been a bartender before. Her drinks are not fancy. They're not even drinks. She usually just squeezes a lemon and puts some ice on her water, or she makes green tea and cools it in the fridge with mint or whatever. And the jars usually come from some grocery or the other. She saves jars from bulk peanut butter, bean jars, whatever has a big glass jar, she's going to end up saving it to drink from it. Before moving in, I'd asked about the jars because I thought it was really strange. I mean, she owns normal glasses. Her justification was that the jars are bigger and therefore she doesn't forget to drink water throughout the day. At the time, I kind of assumed this was some weight loss thing. She didn't want to actually tell me because she was embarrassed, as she's a little bit chubby, so I let it go. But now I've moved in. The jars were annoying me more and more. She doesn't keep every one of them, but she has like 10 in their own shelf, and it seems like a stupid waste of space in our small kitchen. Besides, we have glasses. She doesn't have to drink from a jar. So earlier this week, I was tidying up the kitchen while she slept in, and I just threw them out. I think the kitchen looks much better. We have more storage for pots, and she can still prepare her fancy drinks in normal glasses. She was pissed. I never seen her so mad. Her main point were that the jars never bothered anyone, and it's none of my business. But now I live here too, so I think it is. During the fight, and this is where I may be the a-hole, I mentioned that it's stupid to want special recipients to just drink flavored water. It's not like it's a cocktail, and she's only doing it to lose weight anyway. She went really quiet at that time and walked away from me. I gave her time to get over it, but it's been a few days and she's still moping around, and I noticed she doesn't seem excited about her fancy drinks. That's making me feel kinda bad. But I still think I was in the right to throw out her jars, as they were just garbage. Reddit, should I just bite the bullet and apologize? Am I the a-hole? I think we have our winner for the a-hole of today's episode. Well, I can totally see where you're coming from. You moved into her place, first of all. Second, while I can totally understand that glass jars might be taking up space that you may deem better suited for other things, when you're with someone and the relationship is serious, you've gotta learn to respect each other and whatever weird quirks may come with the territory. I'm a prime example of that form of compromise, dude. My missus puts up with me hogging the largest room in our house and using it as my studio, but she supports me, and I love her more than ever for it. Learn that balance, or your relationship is doomed to fall apart. But what do you guys think? I'm eager for a discussion in the comments. Anyways, that's about all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for tuning in with me, Jesse. What did you think about these stories? Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and check out what other stories I have for you. I truly hope that each and every one of you has a beautiful day. Be kind to each other, and don't be an a-hole.